I should really get some music going. Mohammed Braysor, how's it going? I gotta get in position. Also, maybe lower this slightly. Move nicotine. Good. You know, it's kind of just begun. I slept in for once in my life instead of getting up at 5 a.m. But that's because last night I was up all night running a D&D game for some friends. So, when you can't go to bed at 9 o'clock, you know, you're not getting up at 5. K Superfan, how's it going? I always call you K Superfan instead of K Super Pokemon Fan. I don't know why. I don't know why my brain leaves out the Pokemon. It's something I noticed before. I need a pencil. What? Yeah, D&D. The Dungeons and Dragons. I should probably share this like a good content creator to let people know we're live. There we go. You know, get some time for people to be in here. But we're just chilling today. Why am I streaming today? Well, you know, I don't know why I'm acting like that's a question, because I usually try and stream on Saturdays. But the reason we're doing that is because, unfortunately, did not get the video done in time. Work's been crazy. But, you know what that means? Guaranteed next Saturday the video is coming out. So, everyone can look forward to that. But yeah, we're just big chilling. You're hunting. You're kind of hunting shiny paradox Pokemon. Nice. Shiny hunting. That is not for the faint of heart. That is a task many have attempted, but few have returned from. Oh, looking for Roaring Moon. Nice. But, you know, today we're enjoying this fine Saturday. You know, I decided to draw my, attempt my hand at drawing a little bit of a Mega Chesnaught, you know? Hype is a little bit died down since it came out, but, you know, when you stream every week on a Saturday and not the days where stuff's important, you know, you kind of miss a little bit of the hype trains. But it's fine. You got two shiny paradox? Nice. Always glad to see the success rate. I got this art by Harambe Dex up because I like the Sugimori style. So I'm using it as a reference to what Chesnaught looks like. And his head is way too high up. Yeah, we are big chilling today. I'm happy to say that the episode's coming out Saturday. Suggestion, can you have Gary appear more, please? He'll appear more as he is needed, you know? It's not like I'm not planning for him to appear more, but I won't say when he will or not, you know? I'm trying to give everybody fair amounts of time to show up. But, you know, he will appear more. One thing I'm trying to do with this series is have characters that didn't really appear a lot in the anime like they're supposed to, like Gary. Definitely show up more often. So you kind of get the feel that there's an actual rivalry there instead of we just say there's a rivalry, but Ash and Gary never end up really fighting. Letterman and Brute Bottom, two of them, and Screamtail. Nice. Was watching a video about Volo when this stream popped up. So what's your opinion of Volo? I like Volo. I do. In some ways, I kind of wish his team wasn't so close to Cynthia's. I don't think that's a bad thing. I just think it's one of those things where, like, in a weird way, it's a good reference. In another way, it is, like, sort of like, I don't want to say it robs him of an identity, but in sort of a way where it's like, I like some ideas, some references to Cynthia, but I wouldn't like how close his team is to her. But overall, I think he's a good character. Like, I think it was a good, like, I think Pokemon, has had a recent issue of following the Disney method of twist villains, you know? I mean, as twist villainy as you can get for a Pokemon series, because it is a kid's game, so it's kind of like, you know, like, oh my god, Chairman Rose was the bad guy the entire time. Lusamine was the bad guy the entire time. But I think Volo was a good one, just because you didn't see, I don't think, like, I don't want to say you didn't see him coming. You know, but it's one of those things where I feel like it wasn't as blatantly obvious as one might expect. My favorite Kalos Mega. I mean, my default is Mega Mawile. Of the new ones, I think like Mega Raichu X might be my favorite. Or no, sorry, Mega Raichu Y. I always get them confused. This is a weird process for me right now, by the way, just because I'm not used to, like, drawing like this without, like, a full reference. Like, obviously, I have my reference, you know, right here. But, like, there's a difference between trying to draw something with a reference where you're trying to go exact one for one, and another where, you know, you're trying to go for a chibi or art style like I am right now. And, do that. So who knows if we even get to, like, a final version of this. We might just be doing some roughs today of art. I'm not that good of an artist. I'm a decent artist. I ain't that good. Which I know is such an artist thing to say of, like, you know, like, because compared to someone else who's just, like, who maybe doesn't draw as well as me or doesn't know how to draw, it's just like, oh, you're a good artist, you know this and stuff. But I always compare myself to other artists. But I did, so fun fact, a lot of artists have this problem where they look at their old work and they go, that sucks, that was shit. I am not one of those people. I look at my stuff and I go, God, I'm just the greatest thing since sliced bread. I always find it's more fun to be overly cocky in a joking matter than it is to be one of those people who makes constant self-deprecating jokes. Also, because like you can only hear someone self-deprecate about themselves so many times where you're just like, I get it. I don't know. That's great. Anyways, possibly try therapy. What is shiny Pokemon in Legend ZA? I don't know. There are many shiny Pokemon. Why not be like Ash? Hey, you know, there's always... I don't recommend being like Ash Ketchum. You'll lose brain cells. Or become super boring. like in X and Y. See, we're starting the hate train early, guys. No. I'm a man. Don't let your voice crack. What's up, Brandon? Yeah, so this Saturday, not today, next Saturday, the first part of episode 7 is officially coming out. I'm not sure if how many people here were here last week where I announced basically I've been super busy this month traveling around, family in town that I've had to entertain, and then also work's been freaking crazy recently. So and then also on top of that, the last 2 parts of ZA, or not ZA, of episode 7 got corrupted. And I have to redo them from scratch. I still have the audio, I just have to recut it. But I already have the first part done or near. I basically have to just draw assets for that right now and then add audio. I was going to try and get that done over Thursday, Friday. Work's been crazy. But because I think that part can stand on its own, I'm going to release that because partially to give something for you guys, but also partially because I need to get something out for the YouTube algorithm god so they don't forget me. But, you know, I also think the next 2 parts can stand alone without the... Like, I think each part is something people have really been looking forward to. And so, I'm excited to get those out. I think you guys will do that. What's up, Mark? How'd you enjoy D&D last night? Mark's one of my players. He's one of my buddies. He, plays a character that constantly gives me hell called Salik, who's a bird, who's also a rogue, who can also turn into mist, though the mist part is my fault. Be careful what you give your players, guys. Well, Mark kind of screwed me from the beginning. Fuck you, Mark. No, Mark's great. Did I watch the Loxton video where he explains the origin behind the new megas? I did. Loved them. Always love a good Loxton video. I think if you're ever unsure about a Pokemon or a mega, watching a Loxton video, even if you don't afterwards love the Pokemon, you at least gain a new, healthier appreciation for them, because I think sometimes us as Pokemon fans will look at a Pokemon and go, that's lazy, that's stupid, and then someone like Loxton will explain the origins and the theming and all the stuff behind it. You will suddenly at least understand how it was designed, and that a lot more went into it than just like, it's a rat. What made me choose to do Blaine before Sabrina? What made me choose to do that? Just kind of, honestly, I want to say story stuff. Like, I just, oh, also for reference. Oh, I don't want to select all that. This is, my D&D map of my world that I made for my buddies. They're currently in this city of Barrio. But yeah, this is an entire world map I created of a world I made. And if you've never played D&D before, I recommend it. It's a fun time. Just get a good group of friends and, you know, have a blast. Great map, 10 out of 10. Oh, thank you, Mark. Well, I had to. Like I said before, Drew made me, my other buddy Drew, who plays basically Reggie Rock and Reggie Gigas in my series, in my D&D campaign, ran a Pokemon D&D thing and created a world map that was illustrious. And I was just like, oh, I have to step up my game. gonna get rid of these legs. And thank you. I used a map program to help me assist make it. I did not draw that or anything. But the repeats from Cynthia stop from having his own theme. Yeah, K Superfan. It's kind of like, you know, Volo's biggest theme, I think, is Giratina in that way. Like, that's the kind of most interesting part about him. But, you know, it's one of those things where I look at it and I'm gonna, like, you know, I like that. I wish there was a little more, you know, to him. Which Gen 5 starter mega to like or think is cool and why? I would really like Samurott to get a mega or superior or Emboar. Honestly, I really have none. I really have none that I mean, I'm a superior man through and through. Even though, funny enough, my first choice when I played Black and White was Oshawott. I still love. I actually didn't like Samurott for a while before my friend Samurai Trainer Z. Go check out his channel. We're actually, so fun fact, one of these Saturday streams or possibly a Friday stream, depending on his schedule, me and Samurai Trainer Z are going to be doing a writer's stream where basically I'm going to collect a bunch of questions from you guys and we're just going to talk about writing rewrites like this, or a little bit of writing in general, a lot about writing a rewrite of Pokemon. So if you're ever curious or thinking about doing your own, I recommend tuning in for that because that'll be a fun time. Oh, you mean Gen 6? Okay. I think Delphox and Chesnaught have the coolest. I do think it's I do think they're cooler than Greninja. I spell my nicotine. Yeah. But here's the thing. Mega Greninja is solid. He's actually really good. I think what I think a lot of other Pokemon fans feel when they see it. I mean, obviously Greninja fans are going to be like, "Yes, hype, awesome, this is amazing." But I think like we've seen Ash Greninja before, and a lot of people have made alternate Ash Greninjas or Mega Greninja concepts that it's kind of like you're already a little fatigued by Mega Greninja going in. That's not speaking for everyone, just personally for me. I'm at least a little fatigued about Greninja, so I don't really care as much. I kind of expected it. Like, if they did something different that wasn't the Giant Shuriken, which I didn't expect them to. I think it's a good thing they did the Giant Shuriken. It's iconic. But like I'm a little fatigued by it, so I don't really care as much. I'm more interested in Chesnaught and Delphox. So She-Man Manchi. So the new episode we're releasing next Saturday. Confirmed. 100% it will be out. The only reason it's not released today is these last 2 days have been super busy, so I wasn't able to get the art and audio done like I wanted. Is this my nicotine? So how long will episode 7 be? Episode 7, I think, is around 11 to 12 minutes, but I think it's a very good 11 to 12 minutes, which is why I feel comfortable releasing it. You know, it is not the 30-minute extravaganza, but the last, like, 20 minutes will be episode 8, which will come out sooner than usual. And that's only because, literally, like I said, I already have the audio recorded. I just have to cut it and start banging the episodes out. But those two are also two very packed parts. Like, it was a very packed 30-minute episode. Also, what's up, Rose? You don't say well to me. I say well to you. Yeah, enjoy the fantasy high, Rose. Rose, also one of my good buddies. Fun fact, Rose is one of my, I call him and Samurai Turner Z, I call them my ghostwriters, but they're the guys I bounce ideas off of for my series. Rose helped me develop a Pokemon that will come up in the future. That, because I've already told you Ash will catch more than one. It is not one of the main team members. It's one of the additional catches. And it is probably one of my favorite Pokemon I've ever created for Ash. And it is one I'm super excited to get to. But if you he also is the one who came up with Psyduck using Skull Bash to induce headaches, which was a genius idea because it solved a big writing problem I wasn't even really thinking about. Will Ash get a Mega Pokemon like I'm assuming you meant to write Chesnaught there, Brachiosaur. That's what I'm going to assume. But I'm not going to say that because it sounds bad reading it. It's not. It sounds bad. But Ash will get a new Mega Pokemon. I'm not going to say whether it's Mega Chesnaught or not. Back when I wrote the original episode counts and gave Ash Chesnaught, I was in a certain mentality as a writer and as I was writing all that stuff that I'm not in now. I'm a very different person in terms of how I view the anime and how I do things than I am back then. So, and also how I create these teams for Ash. Before, it was kind of just a hodgepodge. Sometimes I felt like, you know, I needed to, sometimes I felt like I needed a fire, water, grass core. A lot of things, if it's like, sort of like, if Ash chose Sceptile as a starter, then he has to get Swampert, not even considering like a Blaziken or something. Not that Ash is getting a Blaziken, but like, that was my mentality. Back then, I didn't even think about changing companions. You know, who knows what Mega Ash will get? I think whatever Mega Ash will get will surprise you guys. I don't think you guys will expect what's coming for the Kalos team. What's up, Splatter Spark? Mega Hydreigon? I love a Mega Hydreigon. I love Hydreigon. Do I have an idea for Mega Samurott? Maybe giving it a giant sword, like kind of like a Monster Hunter style longsword, possibly, that it can carry, but it's like so big you can't sheath it anymore. And it does like these giant sweeping attacks. I would not make it not quadruped anymore. Though Samurott's one of those Pokemon that is 4 legs and 2 legs. I know a lot of people who think about Samurott don't care for it too much because it's kind of a departure from Duat. But like, I think if you like, in the weird way, I feel like the same people who don't like Samurott because it's not on 2 legs like Duat and Oshawott are also the same people that complain that Incineroar is on 2 legs and not 4 legs. Which I think you got to pick a side there. You either got to be all about, you either got to be all for, you know, the bipedal Pokemon or the quadrupedal. I was not a Samurott fan until my buddy, I keep referring to him, Samus Rider Z. Go check out his series. He's a good writer. He made me look at clips in the anime of Samurott battling. And a big part for me, especially when it comes to choosing Pokemon for Ash, is if I can't physically imagine an animated style fight in my head where I can see a Pokemon move and attack and do that, it's very hard for me to put them on Ash's team or use them in character teams in general. It's why, while Rapidash could be an interesting choice, it's kind of hard for me to just picture how a horse fights, you know? So that's why, like, I wouldn't give Ash a Rapidash, even though you can give Ash a Rapidash and it's fine. Even if it's like, I don't do animations on the level where that matters, for me, it matters in helping my writing process and doing things. So, that's a big thing for me. But, where was I going with this? Yeah, but so anyways, I saw Samurott fight in the anime, and that made me appreciate it and actually like it, even though I never disliked Samurai. I just couldn't, or Samurott, I just couldn't really imagine how it moved, you know? Like, how was it an effective Samurai when it's, like, a fucking sea lion? Also, what up, PD? Pika Boss. The Ash Chesnaught looks really good so far. Thank you. Yeah. It's a, you know, I don't think I'll get to final light art today. If anything, when I'm done roughing this out, I'll probably draw, like, Delphox. But, Yeah, I don't like how that looks. Looks too round. Ash will not... Yeah, Ash isn't going to catch a lot of Tauros. Go put up a new layer here. I don't know why I'm drawing his arms like these big, tanky arms, but I just like it. This is supposed to be a more chibi style art anyways. It's not really being a good chibi, but, you know. This is all for practice for me more than anything. Because, you know, one thing, if you are an aspiring artist out there, the advice, like, I can give you to get better at art is you just have to practice. That doesn't mean don't look up tutorials, don't look up reference works to try and copy or, like, imitate. Rose in the, you know, if he's still in the chat, I started practicing art again because he started doing art for the first time, drawing references, and I was like, this guy's getting a little too good at art. I really need to practice because he's going to catch up really fast. Yeah, people always say practice. It's kind of the unfortunate thing of art, where it doesn't mean, like, don't look up references, don't look up tutorials, don't look up different ways to shade or anything. People kind of leave that part out, but literally you just have to practice constantly. And I'm not getting this, like, chest hair. Chest hair. Make it fluffier! We need more fluff! Deshaun, perhaps Mega Samurott can be fighting or steel type on Mega Volming. That'd be cool. What's up, Pokey Simon? Would giving Ash a Hisuian Sliggoo in Journey's Galar work around your mindset? Or is it iffy? Just thought I asked. No, it's a good question. So, I've contemplated a lot on when I get to a certain point in the series, like, I'm not doing a full Journeys or Galar, you know? I am going to do something with Galar, though. It is going to tie into the ending, but it's going to be sort of the ending of the series, where we get, like, not like a full regional journey, but like almost like an Orange Island style arc in there. And so, like, when it comes to, so in that kind of mindset, Alola is Ash's final region. So I've debated with myself, are there certain Pokemon, as long as they fit the aesthetic of Alola, even if they're future generations, would I mind bringing them in for Ash's team or in general? So Hisuian forms aren't off the table. It all depends on how they feel. But I have not really considered Hisuian forms like that yet. Mostly because I'm still trying to get to freaking Johto. Will the Ninja Village be a part of Kalos, even though I'm not doing Greninja stuff? I'm gonna say no. And not because I'm like the Ninja Village isn't cool or not, but like, really think about it. Like, why is there a Ninja Village in France? And that doesn't mean other cultures can't take part in stuff like that, but like, I think a lot about world building. If you've watched the series so far, I think what I've done with the gym leaders and the league itself has been really good world building. This arm is so out of place now after drawing this arm. But I also need to make this one bigger. some massive freaking chonky arms. It's not a good arm. This is the hard part about writing or drawing, guys. Sometimes when you're not feeling like your art's going well, guys, just doing a smaller, kind of more even sketchier one can help. And sometimes you might end up liking it more. But yeah, so, like, I don't think the Ninja Village just fits in Kalos, you know? Like, obviously, they have a Ninja Pokemon and Greninja there, but, like, it's weird. Like, I expect a Ninja Village in... I mean, obviously, there is one in Kanto. I expect one in Johto. But the place... It just doesn't feel like it ties into the region well as Kalos. Like, it feels like there is just a random-ass Ninja Village in Kalos, and not, like... It's not, like... Feels well-written a part of the world. It feels like it was put specifically there for Greninja. Do I have any ideas for after ATR is finished? No. Like, ATR is going to take so many years to complete that I have, you know, I'm going to be surprised if I finish it. You know, I'm going to try, but, like, I mean, like, when you're doing a series like this and you know, like, to get to the final part of it, you have to do, you know, you have to do, like, it's going to take multiple years to get it all done. You know, it's kind of hard to come up with ideas of what you're going to do in the future. Looking forward to Johto because I like the team you made, even though you said you changed some of it. Yeah, I think Johto is one of my favorite teams I've created. The new one. I like the old one as well, but the new one is also... Oh, what's up, Iceman? I can see now in Alola, Giselle returns and has a Sand Slash versus Sand Slash face off with Ash with an Alola one. I think it fits his team. Don't prioritize it if you think otherwise. Don't worry. I'm still... Alola's still under consideration. Do I think Volcanion could be an Ash Pokemon? Yeah, you could just have to write it in a certain way. Like, I don't like giving legendaries, but I don't feel like Volcanion feels like like a legendary in terms of how I write legendaries. So it's kind of like I actually won't go over Volcanion lore in case I come up with, like, what if I actually do give Ash a Volcanion? I don't want to spoil it, so. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in this fine Saturday. I know I didn't announce the stream like that, where, yeah, sometimes you, when you're doing this stuff, you kind of got to take a pause and not talk and just focus on art, because you will easily lose sight of what you're trying to do. Yeah, other than that, I've been, life's been pretty good for me. I've been starting learning Korean. I don't know anything yet. I'm trying to find where, the best place to start on it, but I'm attempting to. No specific reason. I just decided to learn a language, and I chose Korean because I was just like, oh, I would love to visit South Korea someday. My brother's also been watching a lot of K-dramas, so that helps. So, actually, Deshaun, I'm actually gonna... That's a great question right there. That's not a spoiler, but I think it's a valid question because you guys know me. So, Alain will be part of ATR and stuff. And I am not going to... Like, I shit on Alain, but, like... One thing you'll never catch me doing is needlessly bashing a character for no reason. You know? The closest I think I've come to that is Misty, but I'm also writing her from the mindset that... I mean, if you watch the original series, she is a very abrasive person, and she and Ash get on each other's nerves a lot and needle each other. So the idea of, if she's not traveling with Ash, she would just find Ash annoying off rip. So, like, we only see Misty in terms of, like, interacting with Ash, where she doesn't like him, you know? Alain will be in the series. He will be written very well. He will keep his Charizard. I hate Charizard. You guys know me. But also, Charizard is such an integral part of Alain. His entire design is based off Mega Charizard X. It's not like a Leon situation when I redid Leon's teams and I got rid of Charizard. I still feel like Leon can have a different ace other than Charizard. I don't like him with Charizard. And it's not because I dislike Leon. I just dislike the idea of Charizard being there when we don't need to. Like, there's plenty of Galar Pokemon you could give Leon to be his ace that aren't Charizard. I just don't like that decision. Alain, though, very integral to Charizard. Or Charizard's very integral to Alain. So it'd be like getting rid of Lance's Dragonite or Cynthia's Garchomp. It'd be like, that's a weird choice to make. And I make a lot of weird choices in the series. That's a bridge too far for me. Getting rid of a certain Pokemon that is integral to a character is not a good idea in my mind. Could you give a shout out to an object show me and some people are working on called Do or Die? It would mean a lot to them if possible. Shout out to Do or Die. Don't know what an object show is, but you know what? Check it out, guys. There you go. You can tell they didn't include Mega Chesnaught in the base game because otherwise no one would pick Chikorita with him as an alternate option. Not gonna lie. Yeah, it really... Chikorita is gonna live or die based on how good its Mega is. Maybe they did something good and they redistributed Chikorita's stats to make it more attacking. Because Chikorita and Meganium are bad. They're in a very shitty region for them. Grass types do not do well in Johto. They are just not set up for victory there. But also, no one likes to use tanks in an in-game playthrough, especially a grass tank, which is the worst kind of tank. You know? Like, tanks aren't fun. You want to do a lot of damage. Stuff like that. How do I feel about giving trainers more than one Mega apart from Ash? Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. Like, I think you can use multiple Megas. I don't know why you could only use one. Not, like, at the same time, was what I'm saying, but, like, sort of like a... Well, they did that in the manga, so technically it is possible. Yeah, but tank mons just aren't fun to use. You want to use something with damage. And it doesn't mean you can't use a tank mon. Like, if you have a Steelix on your team, it can still dish out some damage. And you can use it as a switch pivot, you know, like in like a Nuzlocke setting. Really, PD? I've only seen someone experiment with Chikorita in Fire Red, Leaf Green, but that's interesting. It's amazing Bulbasaur wouldn't do better. And I'm just thinking more from a stat distribution thing than anything. Am I gonna give Mega Chesnaught to Ash? Maybe. I already have the current Mega set out for Ash that I want to use. So we'll see. Really, I mean, I will say one of the new ZA Megas has made it onto Ash's team. I'll give you guys that. I'm not gonna say which one, but one of them has. Also, this is the fun part about art, guys, is that, like, I was drawing this. I was like, oh, it's turning out fine, but I'm not exactly crazy over it. But when you go back and just do sketchy stuff like this, like, I'm liking the chibi I'm drawing now more than I was before. Also, this is an actual chibi, unlike this one. Yeah. Separate that, but what I want to do is make him a little wider. A little bit of a wide boy. Ash will get Bellsprout as a starter, possibly. Oh, so I mean, you guys probably know if you pay attention to my community tab. But I recently did a few polls to keep up engagement. I am so shocked. Tangela is everybody's #1 favorite when it comes to Ash's new Pokemon. Not because I'm like Tangela's so shit. I'm actually just surprised it won as much as it did. Like, for reference, here's the poll. But Tangela got 41% of the votes, which is crazy to me. Like, I didn't think I thought Tangela would be a favorite. I thought it'd be possibly first, probably second. I didn't expect the disparity here. Like, I did this poll. I really imagined Giselle was going to win. I'm surprised actually Brock got second place. I think I've done some good things with Brock. I didn't think I did so much, and people were such a green favorite. Gary's on there, but he's not too different from Cannon, just a few quirks. So I didn't expect him to get any points. I just needed a fourth person. I'm surprised Brock got as high as he did. I don't know if it's just because people like Brock or Green hasn't appeared that much, but people are just really loving on Green. But Giselle, I expected to take #1 spot. This also expected. Actually, I am surprised that Erica got more than Sensational Sisters, and only because I got more people disliking Erica than I did people liking her. So I'm surprised people voted for her for third place, even if it is a 1% margin. Sabrina, I'm also kind of surprised got #1. Like, yes and no. I feel like I did a lot more with Lieutenant Surge. I just made Sabrina a more rational, not supervillain. You know, it was just a thing. But Lieutenant Surge, I feel like I did a lot with. That made him a lot better. Sabrina, I feel like, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I do think kind of similar to Brock, a little bit of the votes are biased because it's Sabrina. Come on. You know? Sensational Sisters aren't too different. I really just made them competent. Like, rather than, we don't feel like battling, so just here's the badge. It's like, hey, all our Pokemon are sick because of the toxic water that you stopped, so we're going to give you the badge for doing a deed like that, for doing something well for the city. We didn't really see them a lot. Also, Misty's the one who battled Ash, so you didn't really get a lot with them. So it's not like they're super different. Like I wrote, like, some slightly different, others drastically different. But yeah, Tangela. Cubone, I don't mind being bottom, if only because she hasn't even battled yet. Like, we haven't had a lot, like, other than, like, the aesthetic and demeanor of Cubone, you don't have too much interaction with her. Ninetales is a Charizard replacement, the disobedient Pokemon arc, even if it's done differently. So I expected her to get, like, place well. Psyduck, actually, Psyduck, I didn't, you know, I mean, here's the thing. This doesn't mean anyone dislikes any of these guys, by the way, or like one's better than the others. Psyduck's gotten a lot of time to shine, and he's got little moments, but he's also still Misty Psyduck at the end of the day. So you kind of already, in a similar way to Ash, the Mega Greninja, where it's like, you've already seen Psyduck. Even if I'm doing something different than him, like, you got that thing. But, like, Tangela, I feel like I haven't, like, I've given him moments, but he hasn't, like, developed like that. There's been hints of some slight stuff. You know, if you've been paying attention, there's some stuff there. Um, there's also still the whole Tangela mystery of why this guy decided to go with Ash. Or stalked him. Man, this second leg is actually kind of hard to draw. But no. Well, see, you know what surprises me of Tangela? Because, because in my mind, funny enough, if I went back and had all my knowledge now and rewrote ATR, not like, I mean, more like less rewrite it because there's not too much I change, but like if I could change certain Pokemon and maybe like a detail or two, like Tangela is one of those team members I would actually consider not using. I thought it'd be more maybe if I gave Ash like a Parasect or something. Probably it would be like a similar personality, but it would be a Parasect instead of a Tangela. So it's just funny. Which doesn't mean I dislike Tangela, by the way. It's just one of those things where, like, if I had to, you know, change someone to a different Pokemon, Tangela is just kind of like one of the two Pokemon that I would probably change. What's up, Axolotl guy? Perhaps Georgia or Burgundy can be Iris Blade in black and white rewrite? Possibly. In the future, maybe I'll give you guys... I mean, I probably won't give any spoilers to, you know, who gets replaced because the surprise is always the fun part. Really like Chesnaught's cape. Sina Vina. Oh, hello. One of my members said that you shouted out Do or Die, an object series, and can't believe you actually did. I'm the owner, by the way. Very much appreciate it. And no problem. Iceman came in, asked if I could shout out the series, and I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. I mean, why not? Playing some Minecraft, Axolotl. I gotta get back in Minecraft. Minecraft's such a fun thing. You know, it's just a good relaxing game. I don't have too much time for like relaxing like that. Like I'm either doing work or I'm doing this, or I feel like when I'm not working on the series or doing something like that or watching a video, I'm not being productive. Which isn't exactly a great thing. I wonder if you will willingly be flexible on your exact timeline as games in terms of moves and Pokemon to be updated gen, like introducing Mega in Gen 3 or soon stuff in Gen 4. So with that, I generally stick to kind of in a weird way as if I'm writing in the time period that the episodes were wrote in where you don't have those generations. It's kind of a mix of both. So I will throw hints and references to like Unova, Kalos, other things. Like, for example, Mega Dragonite came out. If I draw Lance and you guys were like, huh, he has a Mega Keystone on his design, there will never be a moment where I go, yeah, this is my mega keystone that I use to mega evolve. But you guys as the viewer will be like, that's a mega keystone. Gen 6 exists in the world because it is a living, breathing world. But I just kind of contain myself to the gen I'm in. But also there are exceptions. Like in Gen 3, when abilities are introduced is when I'll find, like, I've hinted at abilities right now. If you guys have been paying attention, I've hinted at Pikachu's ability multiple times. But I haven't said that's his ability. You know what I mean? So when I do this, so like, but also you'll finally get talking about abilities in Gen 3. But also, I'm going to use every ability in Gen 3. Hidden abilities, all that stuff. But I'm still limited by the Gen 3 move pool. Stuff like that. Also, welcome, Dream Tsunami. Way to catch the scream. But, like, until I get to later gens, like Gen 6 or something, where I know I'm at the end, minus, like, the whole, like, final part of the series, which is my, not rewriting journeys, but my journeys equivalent, Galar equivalent, I might be more flexible to introducing Pokemon from future gens in there, you know, if they fit with what I'm doing. Who's my favorite team member? You gave Ash. Probably, in a weird way, Psyduck, but I am a big fan of Cubone as well. I like her. Even though she is on my, like, if I did things differently in the beginning, you know, I would replace her with someone else. But that's only because I would just give Giselle her Cubone, because the reason why Giselle doesn't have her Cubone is an entire rigmarole of Brock team choices that got changed a mid-episode rewrite when Giselle was introduced that I just didn't go back and fix or, like, adjust. Will there be a plot point of how Pikachu came from Viridian Forest to Professor Oak's lab? I might touch upon that. I don't have any plans for it. But Cal starters getting overshadowed by other starters for the second time is so funny to me. Yeah. What is your favorite evolution evolved? I think I like Leafeon the best. Leafeon or Flareon. I think I'm more partial to Leafeon, but I do like Flareon. Will you allow Megas introduced in ZA to Kalos? Yes, Axolotl guy. Actually, one ZA Mega has made it onto Ash's team at the time of this this stream. Who knows if it's still there by the time I get to Gen 6, but it is there. Funny how both the anime and games don't use Dragonite for Lance. Let's Go Pikachu has Mega Dragonite and Masters 8 tournament has a shiny Gyarados in the poster. Yeah, it is funny. I think the thing that cements ATR is great to me is that just like the anime, it makes me like a Pokemon species as a whole. I know attachment tangle into series. That's great to hear, Dream, because my goal because every Pokemon Ash gets, I'm gonna sit up in my chair, take a sip of my energy drink. I'm gonna elaborate a little. Unlike a lot of other series, every Pokemon Ash catches is a character. And I mean character, I mean it's the equivalent of Ash, Giselle, Brock, Green. It is a living, breathing character. It is not a tool. It is not a one-off gag personality where it's just like, I like to bite Ash's head and that's it. I feel like it's a trap a lot of people fall into writing. I feel like when a lot of people don't write the Pokemon as characters, but I think it's mostly because they're in thinking like the anime, where a lot of the Pokemon Ash catches, or in general, aren't really characters. Maybe you have the random Infernape or Greninja, or even like the more solid Pokemon that don't have an arc or anything, but they're kind of just a solid guy like Hawlucha. Like, every Pokemon's supposed to be a character. But unlike everybody else who writes rewrites, I have a duty. I have a goal where I have to make you guys like the Pokemon I give Ash, because I'm using nothing he's ever caught before. So even if you guys aren't thinking about it, somewhere in your brain, or someone who's actively thinking about it is thinking like, I'm comparing this team to the original team in the anime. So I have to make you either like them as much or more than that anime. And when I give Ash a weird Pokemon choice, I have to do it justice to make sure you guys enjoy it. Because otherwise, if you don't enjoy the Pokemon Ash is using, you're less likely to watch the series, you know? Even if you only like one and dislike the others, you know? So, like, I, you know, work hard to make sure that every Pokemon feels like a character, Every Pokemon has something going on. Not everyone requires a full-on Ash, Greninja, or Infernape level arc, but everybody is going to get something. Or almost everybody. Some Pokemon are meant to be solid. They're meant to be... Their personality is kind of where they're at. You know, and they're meant to be kind of a constant presence, and that's kind of their role in the team, is they're the solid one. They're constant, you know? Doesn't mean they won't have struggles or trials or tribulations, but their entire point isn't to exactly, like, I'm going to have this grand character arc where I change and improve. It's more like, I might get beaten down, but I will always rise up to the challenge. Not that Giselle isn't a great character, but during my rewatch yesterday, I just realized no companion is safe from replacement. Yeah, that is a big thing. Originally, it was only going to be Giselle, funny enough. But then I kind of got thinking about it, and I realized that, like, when it comes to the series, I've already realized that by inserting Green and changing up the dynamic between her, Ash, and Gary, by proxy, I've already done a huge change to the anime. And so, rather than trying to keep close to the anime with different Pokemon, I've decided that my goal is to keep the spirit of the anime. Like, I want you to feel kind of like you're watching Kanto still, or you're still watching the Pokemon anime and not my fan fiction. You know, where I do, like, you guys know what I'm talking about, where, like, someone does something in their series that takes you wildly out of it, you know, where it's just like, ooh, this is getting real fan fiction. Like, the idea of, like, everybody comes endgame style to fight Giovanni. It doesn't mean it's bad if you do that, but that's not something the anime is gonna do, you know? Like, but like I said before, the entire point of this is to, you know, do something different. When people tell me, like, I want Ash to... Could you give Ash a Charizard? Could you do this? A lot of people, I'm like, go watch the anime if you want that stuff. Not in a bad way. Not like, fuck you, don't recommend Charizard. The tagline of this series that I can't use anything Ash has caught before does get lost in the sauce if you didn't watch episode 1. Or you don't read the description or something. Like, I get it. Or you're not, like, you just leap into the series without knowing my channel. So I don't blame anyone who's just like, can Ash get this Pokemon that he's caught before? I get it, you know, it's not a big deal. But I'm trying to do something different. And so, like, if you want stuff that's similar to the anime, there's an entire multi-season Ash anime you can go watch. And with companions, it doesn't mean they're all suddenly dead if I don't use them. I'll usually make them reoccurring characters, rivals, something. I'll do something with them. Except for Serena. She's definitely dead and in hell. Also, so fun fact, if you guys have watched my previous streams, I've made a joke when someone asked me what happened to Ash's original starter trio of Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and Charizard. And I always say Bulbasaur is leading the Hidden Village. Squirtle's a mob boss of a crime syndicate. And I always say Charizard's dead in hell. You know, mostly because I'm poking fun, because obviously I'm being like, he's dead and he's in hell burning forever, because I'm playing up the Charizard hate, obviously, you know. But when you think about it, Charmander legitimately would be dead. Like, Ash saved its life. It would still be sitting on that rock if Ash didn't come there. So, it might not be in hell, but it's definitely maybe not alive if Ash doesn't get to it. What Paradox Pokemon would you consider giving Ash if you go beyond Journeys? That's a great question. I'll answer that. And I'll change up my music because it just stopped. In terms of past Pokemon, I would probably give him, like, a Slitherwing or a Great Tusk. I would love to give, like, a Walking Wake or something, but even though I don't consider them legendaries, they are legendaries. In terms of future Paradox Pokemon, I'd either do an Iron Valiant, an Iron Thorns, or an Iron Bundle. What's up, Masoji? for the anime, the Red Dragonite makes, or Red Gyarados, I know what you meant, PD. Makes more sense for Lance. There's an entire arc about it in Johto. I'd consider that. I'm not sure if I'm going to still give Lance the Red Gyarados as his main guy. I think I'm still possibly going to stick... I think I'm still going to stick to Dragonite as his main Pokemon, but I'm just going to lessen the amount of Dragonites in the series, so it's more similar. But also, I'm going to touch upon Blackthorn and its history and what it means to be a part of the Blackthorn, you know, village, city, whatever, a lot more. So I feel like Dragonite will get more incorporated in that way. Especially agree with Sam, Lucario always having the same personality in anime and fanfics. Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're going to do... Well, it's also because people make Lucario the main Pokemon on someone's team. They don't really make it, like, a side Pokemon or something. It's always the guy. It's always the Infernape, the Greninja. We actually got a good Chesnaught going here. Let me adjust this slightly. I actually like what I did here. This is actually a great chibi. I'm not going to mark it all up now. Instead, I'm actually just going to grab... I'm just going to do this. Chesnaught. And we're going to start roughing out Delphox, I think. Also, shout out to... I'm so, by the way, disappointed. I'm so thankful for Pokemon fans who... who, like, Harambe decks here, who I'm using as the art reference. For doing stuff in the Sugimori style, because I do not like the renders they use, the 3D renders. Like, it's so... it's just, I don't like them. Read a few questions before we get into it. I kind of don't care all about Dreadnought and Zaktoshi's rewrite just because his only personality trait is bite. I think Zach's... I don't know. I actually would love to talk to Zach about writing, about his thought process for X and Y. Or not X, Y, for Sword and Shield. It is his first series, but also, like, I don't think he treats his Pokemon any differently than the anime does. Like that, you know? That doesn't mean, like, you know, he does very close to the anime, which I think he has a good, like, X, Y almost vibe for Sword and Shield. Or, like, a very good, like, anime feel for it. So I think he's really stuck with that. Could Pokemon be more developed? But yes, but also, like, when you're kind of doing a Galar series like that, where Ash doesn't have prior Pokemon, like, you don't kind of... Sometimes you don't need more than that. I do stuff... I take things to extreme, which can be great in some ways, but also I feel like it's a requirement of my series. But I get what you mean. Pokemon feeling more like archetypes and gags rather than characters, like the regional birds Ash catches or Misty Psychic and OS. Yeah, that's a big problem. I mean, I ranked all of Ash's birds, and literally just... They were all so bad. Like, the best one was Swellow, second up Staraptor. But they're all bad. Swellow's probably actually the best where it's the closest to a normal Pokemon. But even then, I don't think it's like a consistent good like that. I think it has great moments, but it's not like we see its personality trait all the time. It just shows in how it fights and, like, battles. I'm glad that every Pokemon is unique dynamic with each other. It makes them feel like more of a team. It reminds me of the best Pokemon fanfiction, like Born of Caution. The best of Pokemon fan. I thought you were going to say the best, because I was like, the best is Traveler. For reference, the best is Traveler. I've fallen off Traveler a little bit near the end. I gotta catch up on chapters and kind of reread it, but, like, I think it's the best series. It is actually what inspired Tangela and Magmar for Ash's team, because Ash in that series has those. I'm trying to do something different, so if you've ever read Traveler, that you don't look at Tangela and be like, that's just the Tangela from Traveler. Because they're both goofballs, but, like, my Tangela is definitely smarter. And not as, like, dumb like that. He's just kind of hyper. Yeah, I get that when you rewatch something and then every major character ends up with a competitive team and a shiny, it can just feel like fan-fiction-y. This isn't that, or I feel like. I'm starting watching Kanto again for the first time. Ooh, unfortunate. Kanto's a hard watch. Kanto's a fun watch. I'm being facetious here, but, like, Johto's a hard watch. I'm being honest, I was a Johto truther for a while where I was just like, guys, Whirl Islands is when it gets really good. I watched the Whirl Islands. I was like, this sucks. What the fuck is going on? It only is the League. The League is the only good part of Johto. Like, there may be, like, the good episode or two that you like, but overall, it's just so boring. How much screen time do you think each of Ash's Pokemon should have? That's a hard question. I try and be fair with my distribution of time. The one who probably gets shafted on time the most at the moment is Pikachu, but I have 7 to 8 regions for Pikachu. I don't feel the needing alarm to be like, Pikachu's got to get screen time, and he's gonna have an entire arc coming up in the future. Bulbasaur alive, Squirtle alive, but gay Charmander dead, never found. Oh, that's funny, Spinel. But I try and, whenever I introduce a Pokemon in the next episode or in their episode, I try and give them some screen time so you get to know them better. So you can kind of endear yourself quicker. So it's a thing. Some characters make like a better appearance than others. And then also, as I'm doing gym, I kind of keep most of mine in gym battles. Like, who's battled the most? What's everyone's win-loss rate? Is someone really negative in the losses? Because I keep sacking them first to give, like, another Pokemon time to shine. Like, Tangela had that moment with the Ninetales episode and Erica's gym because I hadn't done a lot with Tangela since his first appearance. And, like, since his, like, because I had him lose against Green because Ash had to lose against Green. So, like, I made up for that in the Erica gym battle. Psyduck has gotten a lot, so I don't need to do much with him. Ninetales has her whole thing going on right now. So I don't need to be too... I don't want to say I don't have to be too proactive about her, but I like stuff will be... She has a overarching, like, an arc that goes over all, like, the regions, you know? So I don't need to be too... I don't want to say I don't need to pay attention to her, but I don't need to... Like, I don't need to... Like, her win-loss record at the moment doesn't matter in my mind because she's already very strong, or the thing that needs to improve about her is her bond with Ash. Is Serena just a guaranteed replacement? 100%. I hate Serena as a character so much that you couldn't pay me to use her. You know, she's probably the most hated character I've ever had in the Pokemon series. You know, not up there on Charizard, but, like, it's up there. I just think she's a worthless character. If you like her, that is completely fine. My opinions are my own. I don't need to say this. If you follow me, if you watched my streams, you get what I'm about. I'm a hater. There's a lot of things I'll come up here and spew hate. I had someone, so in the last episode explanation of episode 6, the Q&A, I shat on Talonflame, Ash's Talonflame, for a good while. Someone replied that they didn't like how I shat on Talonflame, and they called it very surface level, which made me laugh because I was just like, I didn't reply to it and stuff. They were like, they can't watch me anymore for that reason. And I was like, okay, well, go cry about it. You know, that's what I said to myself. But also, I was just like, shat on it very surface level. There's no depth to Talonflame. What the fuck? Of course it's all surface level. It's Talonflame. There's nothing to fucking dig deep into. Oh my god. It would just made me laugh like crazy. Do you think Ash should have lost to Leon? No, I think Ash winning makes sense. They just made Leon so brokenly overpowered that Ash winning makes no sense. You know? When you said Serena is gone, will someone else replace her? Yes, 100%. Kukui has a good Lucario, yes. But we also don't know a lot about it. It's just because it was a side piece. That's the only reason it's good. You consider which Pokemon with the Dragon's form you're going to give it to Ash in the Journeys rewrite. If I do a Journeys rewrite like that, I'm not going to do a Journeys rewrite, but I'll do some stuff with Galar. And if we get to Dynamax stuff, Ash would probably use old Pokemon that he's already caught. I can't imagine. He might catch one or two new Pokemon, but, you know, Galar is going to be its own thing. I won't go into it too hard. Which Mega ZA are you most fearing if it is revealed you go, damn, I couldn't use that? I was kind of like that with Hawlucha. I really shat on Ash's Hawlucha a lot, and then I gained a new appreciation for it. And then when I saw a Mega Hawlucha, I was like, damn, that could have been a great Mega for Ash. Like, a Hawlucha for this Ash I'm writing would be great. Dragonite is in a similar vein. I could use a Dragonite. It's fortunate I can't. But I mean, I was like that with a lot of Pokemon, like Gengar, Primeape, Muk, Tauros. I wish I could have included them on the Kanto team. In your rewrite, will some characters from the games who didn't end up in the anime, like Lucas, Wale, Bede, definitely. I will definitely use everyone at my disposal. I'm also not afraid about using later gen characters from remakes in the original gen, such as characters that appeared in Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. Like, I'll be using the Team Magma and Aqua designs of that generation when I get to Hoenn. You know, even though it is a Gen 6 game, but it's a remake of Gen 3. Just because there's no overlap, it doesn't ruin anything. But I'm not afraid to use characters from Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire and have them appear in Hoenn when I'm in Gen 3, technically. I really want to see Cubone use that bone as a big-ass katana. We'll see. We're doing great, Harris. We haven't drawn in a minute, but we drew a chibi Chesnaught. Now we're kind of going for, it's a big talking stream now. You got roasted for saying she has no value outside of shipping, and this is from an active shipper. No, you're right. I mean, here's the thing. Serena could have been good. I feel like the problem with Serena is that she's so tied to Ash and her crush on Ash. Also, I mean, her, whatever they're called, showcases are just really bad contests, you know? Like, I just don't like them. I think they're just, you should have done contests, especially because she goes on to be a coordinator at the end of the series. She's like, I'm going to go do coordination. It's like, why weren't you doing that in the first place? It doesn't mean Serena couldn't have been written well, but she did nothing but be Ash, like I have a crush on Ash for all that thing. Ash isn't written well in that series either. I don't think the Kalos group overall is a good functioning unit together. What about game or manga Serena, though? I mean, here's the thing. I'm so poisoned on Serena, I don't even want to use her game or manga counterpart, if only because I feel like even if I did do a manga Serena, people are going to be thinking about anime Serena the entire time, and I don't like anime Serena. Would Joda just be trimmed down? A lot of ATR will be more original events instead, like Bill and Mike. Yeah, a lot more original events, a lot more, like, maybe closer to Heart Gold, Soul Silver, plotline, stuff like that. I don't know too much what I'm going to do there, but it's definitely going to have a little bit more meat and plot than Kanto had, because Kanto's all about getting Ash and the team off the ground. How many things are just decided on a whim? Handful. Like, fun fact, Brock was originally going to get the Cubone that, you know, the baby Cubone whose mother died in Lavender Tower. And that was going to be kind of his baby Pokemon of the region. Because originally Togepi was going to go to the Giselle. But I didn't want to give Togepi to Giselle because I realized in my head, I don't want to just make her the girl. And I think most people, like, there's kind of a mentality of, like, I've heard a comment that was like, Wigglytuff or Jigglypuff would be great for Serena. Or not Serena, Giselle. And I'm like, do you think because they fit well together or because it's a girly Pokemon with the girl character? Which doesn't mean you can't do that. I mean, for certain characters, that really works out well, like Dawn. Because she's a very girly girl. But, like, I was like, if I'm going to give someone a Pokemon, I'm going to have a reason for it. And so, when I decided against mid-episode recording that I'm going to give Brock Cubone and change it to a different Pokemon, not Togepi at the time. Togepi came later. And the Togepi appearing for Brock was a whim decision. The reason why Giselle doesn't have a Cubone is because there was an entire rigmarole of Brock getting it and then not having it, and now it's with Ash. It's not the Lavender Tower Cubone, but it is a Cubone. So stuff like that's the side of the web. Giselle originally had a Vaporeon, and then I rewrote it that it was a Pokemon loaned by the school. And out from underneath my desk. Because I realized that I'd just be repeating the plot line that I would have with her Sandshrew with Vaporeon, so doubling up on it every time wasn't really, like, fun for me, so I just wrote it off. Stuff like that. A funny replacement for Serena could be Shauna, who ran away from home and only falls into Annoyed Ash because Yulia has no idea where to go, unlike him. Could be fun. I got an idea for whoever the companion is. You guys might expect it, you might not, but I already know their plot line and everything. I got all the companions planned right now and what their purpose is in the story. Because I know how Ash is going to evolve as a character and a trainer. So that's why I know where he's, like, how it's going to be going. Well, also, I think, just touching on Serena again, a big problem with her relationship with Ash is that people are shipping. They're like, we love Ash and Serena together. Ash has no crush on Serena. He barely acknowledges that, you know, I mean, it's kind of like there's no relationship there. She just has this one-sided crush on Ash that people fill in on the Ash side for some reason. Like, Ash is like never like, you know, oh my god, I love Serena, or Serena, we have this bond. Like, he's focused on his own shit. He doesn't care about Serena's crush or whatever. He doesn't even know it's there, you know? One-sided stuff like that's never a good way to have a character stuff, like especially in a non-romance focused thing like this series. Why doesn't Mega Dragonite look more like Dragonair? Also fan base. Why does Mega Raichu look more like Beat? Yeah, people who like Dragonite kind of having more Dragonair-esque traits, but not liking that Mega Raichu Y has Pikachu-like traits, baffle me. It's so hypocritical. I couldn't hope that Ash and Leon would have tied at the end, giving him a reason to continue his journey. Possibly, but I also like giving Ash a win. What is my favorite female companion? Dawn or... I mean, all the Alola girls are top tier. If barring them, Dawn or Iris. Considering Magmar is gone, will you be willing to consider Hisuian, Hisuian Arcanine, wink wink? Possibly. I don't know how I'm going to introduce Hisuian or where they would introduce in the series. Probably very later if I do them. Or Sinnoh, possibly. I haven't decided on that. The Sinnoh team's pretty locked down, so I don't know if I'm going to introduce a Hisui Pokemon there. I think Showcase have potential and requires coordination from the trainer as well. True synergy test, but yeah, but I feel like you could just do that with contests. I think contests were a great way of doing it. I don't know why you would need showcases. I feel like, yeah, it's a world building thing, but they just feel like worse contests, you know? They feel like they just took contests and then added random bullshit to it. World building question. Who's the guy designing the female evil team's uniforms for Gen 1 through 3? Who thought miniskirts and mid-wrists were a good idea? You know, it's hot in those regions. I get it, you know? Personally, I think they chose them themselves. If Ash were to keep Talonflame, how would you fix him? Let's see. How would I write an Ash Talonflame? That's a hard one on the spot. I really put thought into these characters. So let me vibe on that for a minute. Because I'm of the mind of like, I don't know where it goes. Maybe I would make Talonflame a pyromaniac. I'd give it like a Hello Kitty girl inspired personality where it's just like, I like to set things on fire, you know? Like it really likes to set things on fire, something like that, where it's a little touched in the head, still a good person, but like, it's kind of like that meme of the burning house in the background of the little girl looking at the camera. Kind of like that energy. Something like that, maybe. If I just asked that if you get to JoJo, please do something with Casey. I plan to do stuff with Casey. Don't worry. Those random Chateau girls replace Serena Trust. That's an option. Since you haven't played a Digimon game before, the new one, Digimon Story Time Stranger, it has a demo that carries over the retail version if you want to give it a try. I'll give that a look, Quiznos. I love Digimon. So I follow this channel, Karn EX. I love his Digimon content because I'm a Digimon fan, you know? So I like all that stuff. Yeah, no. All right, so I think we're gonna cut stream here. We got a Chesnaught drawn, or sketched out. I'll probably line this later and do all that, but we've been going for an hour and 18. So next week, Saturday, guaranteed, episode 7, part 1 will be out. I mean, I say part 1 because it's literally the first part of the episode. It's gonna have a lot of cool stuff that you guys are gonna enjoy. A lot of stuff people are requesting are in that. My dog's having bowel issues, so I gotta kind of keep an eye on him so he doesn't shit in my house. So I think we'll end stream here. I'm going to make an announcement at some point about the status of the episode, what happened in the back half for the people who don't want to stream, so look out for that. But we'll do episode 7 on Saturday next week, and we'll have the after Q&A later in the day. So I want to thank you all for watching. This has been a great time. I got a really great Chesnaught down. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys.